looks as though the government is not for any more U-turns.
Well, look, it's very clear now, isn't it? It's becoming clearer and clearer every day that passes that they've absolutely got to go back to the drawing board with this so-called mini budget. It has led to a huge loss of confidence in our government and its ability to run the economy. And that is leading very directly to these huge rises in mortgage rates that we're seeing, that every working person who has a mortgage in this country is now paying the price for, as well as continued problems with inflation and so on. So they've got to go back to the drawing board. I don't think there's any doubt about that now. I think the issue is, will that be enough, and will they get the confidence of some of these financial institutions, which frankly they've also trashed over the last few weeks by not publishing the report of the Office for Budget Responsibility alongside their budget, and by trashing the top people who work in the Treasury. All of these things is what has led to this total loss of confidence, and it's ordinary working people paying the price for it.
Nevertheless, it looks as though they are not for any more U-turns. What would you say to the Kwasi Kwarteng, as we know, has gone to Washington to speak to the IMF? They have been pretty critical, actually, as far as the British economy is concerned. What would you say to Kwasi Kwarteng ahead of that Halloween budget?
Well, look, he's got to reverse his mini budget, because the sums just don't add up. You know, we've heard the Prime Minister yesterday saying that she is absolutely not for cutting public spending. Good, I'm pleased to hear her saying that, but she cannot sustain that at the same time as sustaining huge tax cuts for some of the biggest and most well-off businesses in this country, and other tax plans that she had in her mini budget. And she also can't sustain that with the energy price freeze being funded entirely from borrowing, and not raising money, as we have been proposing, from a windfall tax on the excess profits of the energy companies. So I think, Kwasi Kwarteng and the Prime Minister can put their finger in their ears and say, it's all okay, we'll carry on as normal, and we'll all continue to pay for that with increased mortgage rates, with inflation out of control and other prices going up. Or they can do the responsible thing and listen, not just to the big economic global institutions like the IMF, listen to Parliament, listen to the public, and they can reverse their mini budget and go back to the drawing board. And I think it's now incredibly clear that they've got to do that. And it's not even that clear whether that alone would be now sufficient to restore confidence. But I think that's an absolutely first step to restoring some confidence.
OK, but even if they did reverse everything that they gave away in the last budget, in the mini budget, that's 40-odd million quid. The black hole is £62 million so far, and likely to increase further. How would you pay for it?
Well, look, as you say, it's about the package overall, isn't it? And there were some big decisions there that they've taken that have led to that black hole being as big as it is. And the first of those is the planned increase in corporation tax, which after COVID and after all the sort of support that's gone into businesses, it was decided that there should be increases over the coming years in corporation tax. So that's a tax on big businesses that make profits. So that's all that is. And that would amount to around £18 billion a year. They said they were going to just cut that. It's unfunded, and that's a big problem. So they need to reverse that. The cut in stamp duty, which is effectively a bonus to landlords and second homeowners, as we've seen from previous times that stamp duty has been cut. They need to reverse that too. And then critically, on this issue of the energy price freeze and where the money is going to come from, they need to swallow their ideology and accept that these super massive excess profits that the energy companies are now raking in need to be have a windfall tax to help to pay for that. And that all of that together, we think would help to restore confidence and credibility and make the sums add up much better than they do at the moment.
Talk to me about the online safety bill. That's very much part of your brief, isn't it? We're being told that, it's been pushed back again. We are being told, though, by the Culture Secretary that it will be put to Parliament again soon. We've heard that a lot of times previously. Why the continued delay? Can Labour not do anything about that? And what in particular do you want to make sure gets through?
Well, look, as you say, I mean, we cannot afford any more delay with this bill. We've had weeks of this bill going through Parliament before the summer. We needed one last bit of a half-day debate to finish it off before it went to the Lords, before the government pulled it. We've been waiting for it for 3 or 4 years. It's been promised time and time again. And of course, most recently, we've heard the devastating findings from the Molly Russell coroner's case about the real impact of the sort of business models and the algorithms and the pushing of content towards young people that leads to suicide and harm. And so the urgency is now, and I've written to the Culture Secretary to say I will do whatever it takes to make time in Parliament to work with the government to get this done and get it done quickly. Before Christmas isn't soon enough. Every week in this country, we're seeing 3 or 4 teenagers take their own lives, and many of those are linked to activity on social media. So we cannot afford to wait, and I will do whatever it takes to get this bill. It's not perfect. There are things about it that I would change, but let's not make perfection the enemy of the good. We need to get a regulation and get a regulator in as quickly as possible.
I've never heard that phrase before. Perfection, the enemy of the good. I'm going to use that. It's good to talk to you. Thanks so much indeed for joining us.
Thanks, Kay.